I knew when I was around 10 that I would move to New York. I was like, that's where I'm headed. Because my mother wanted my sister and I to be artists. It just felt like it was a mandate in a funny way. Even though I was interested in art and I was always making things. Actually, I was a dancer. I got a full scholarship to be a modern dance major. That was my first sort of love. At the end of my first year at Bennington, I was in this car accident. I dropped out of school and moved to New York. It changed my life in this kind of drastic way. My process is to start by spending 2 or 3 days making these little black and white collages, trying to come up with an interesting composition so that I have room to make these big sort of poured gestures and then stuff that will kind of intersect those spaces. This has become several different paintings. So what ends up happening is that this area in the painting is converted to green. So it starts to travel throughout this image. Once this dries, I'll probably cover this up with the purple because I want to create a kind of internal logic in the painting so things really feel like they're spatially connected. Basically what I'm trying to do is set up 2 different areas of light in the painting. Since I've got these 2 light sources, the gesso and the raw canvas, I often will bring in glitter to be this kind of 3rd iteration of light. Initially when I used the glitter, it was because I wanted them to be very campy. And I was trying to figure out what is the material language of like queerness or when I was first coming out. Now I know that's in there, it's embedded in the history of using it, but I'm also using it to sort of lift off the canvas in a sense. This is a principle of the way I think about painting and my teaching, which is that painting is about painting. History is actually like a big subtext of these paintings. It's basically a dialogue with each other. So painters in the past and painters in the future. My mother had Miro's painting called The Farm up in our house when I was a kid. It's ostensibly a straightforward landscape, but all of the objects and flora and fauna have been put through cubism. It's very hierarchical and incredibly graphic. I don't know why, but I was really, really interested in like German Expressionism. For some reason, I had seen a Christian Schad painting. It was so meticulously painted and it was very erotic the way that he painted. You know, the surface is incredible, the drawing's incredible. But I also liked people like Jawlensky. There's one painting that I actually saw in Berlin, which was like my painting, which is of a really androgynous looking person who I think was maybe a dancer or something. I was also fortunate enough to be an intern at Heresies magazine. Heresies was a magazine that was run by different collectives of women artists. And the beauty of Heresies was that you got to see a lot of work that was going on. And it was just a whole other way of thinking, because basically I had male teachers at Pratt. In 2007, I had a show called The Stone Age. I knew I wanted it to deal with abstraction, but I also wanted to have forms that referred to the body. And because I had this association with goddesses and sort of archaeology, those forms made it into this body of work. Now, 7 years later, the space in the paintings have changed a lot, even though some of those strategies remain. Now the space in the paintings is totally opened up. But I actually feel like this work is very true to who I am and how I want to affect people. I have very short attention span for art. It's like if I see something that is so gripping that I'm going to stay there, that is a huge accomplishment. Huge. So part of what I'm trying to do is get people to stay there.